How we doing, guys? This is Noob Taco. Here with a build. It's a Demon Hunter build, and I call this the no bow build. But anyways, right in the build. Here we go. For my hatred builder, I've got grenades with stun grenades. Um, I'll, I'll I'll show you why. Another good option is Tinkerer to generate more hatred, but I'll show you why I chose stun grenades. My primary attack, well, it's secondary on here, but what I'm mainly going to be using is the Chakram. And I chose Razor Disc, and I chose it for a couple reasons. I'll show you real quick. You can throw it right at your target. You can aim it. Now, if you want to choose Boomerang, you can, because it does more damage. But the problem with Boomerang is you can't really aim it. And here, I'll show you. It goes out in a circle. So if you can get used to how it's aimed, then, go ahead and go for it. But it's really hard to kind of kite the enemies at a perfect distance to where you can hit them every time. And it just became more of a pain to use, so I just go with Razor Disc. It's a lot easier, especially when you're under pressure from elites and whatnot. For next skill, I chose Shadow Power, and I chose Blood Moon. It increases the life. You can also choose, where is it? Well of Darkness, which decreases the discipline cost, and if you do that, then what's going to happen is you can basically have it up at all times, which is really helpful. But I found that I didn't really need it up at all times, so I went with Blood Moon for those situations where I got really low on life and I just need to gain some life real fast, so that's why I went with Blood Moon. Next is Vault with Tumble. I use Vault with Tumble on pretty much every single one of my Demon Hunter builds, especially since they nerfed, what's it called, Shadow, there it is, Smokescreen. So since they nerfed Smokescreen to where they took away the half a second, that really made a lot of a difference, and you can't stay in Smokescreen constantly anymore. So I find the best way to get away from a bad situation is Vault, and especially with Tumble, because it lets you basically cast it twice, and you're going to be able to do that for 12 discipline, which isn't too bad. So you can get a pretty good distance away from the enemies with Tumble for relatively cheap, so that's why I use that. Next I chose Companion with Bat Companion. Really, I think this is the only companion worth using out of all of them, to be honest. When I do the gold farming, I go with the Ferret, especially if I'm doing it in an area where I don't really need to do a whole lot of damage if the enemies are easy to kill. But I go with the Bat Companion, and the thing about the Bat Companion is, which I'll get into when I talk about Phantom Knives, is this build is primarily around hatred. So you need a lot of hatred regeneration, and this Bat Companion helps you out a lot with that. And so does stun grenades, and I'll get into that in a second. I'll show you that in a second. But this really helps with that, and to where you can pretty much just keep your chakrams out at all times, and you don't have to worry about, trying to get more hatred to spam to get those out there, try to kill your enemies. You don't really have to worry about using your grenades so much. Next I chose Phantom Knives. The reason I chose Phantom Knives is because this is a hatred heavy build, and Phantom Knives uses hatred. Now what I use Phantom Knives for is this slowing ability. It slows enemies by 60% for 2 seconds, which is really helpful if you need to get away from them fast. Now an alternative to using this is Caltrops. But if you're going to use Caltrops, you don't need the Bat Companion. If you're going to use Caltrops, I would go with Preparation, and I'd do the backup plan, because that 30% chance of Preparation's cooldown will not be triggered. That's really helpful. It actually happens quite a bit, and it's really helpful when you're trying to vault away and set Caltrops up and everything. But I chose Phantom Knives because it's a lot more reliable for your hatred regeneration, and it does a decent amount of slowing. I also went with Hail of Knives to extend it to 20 yards, which does it's a pretty good distance. I mean, you know, it covers a good portion of the screen. It'll slow most of your enemies, and then you can just, after you cast that, you can vault away, and you're in safe territory to start tossing out some chakrams again. If you can't quite finish them off without them gaining on you and starting to hurt you pretty badly, so that's why I chose that. Next for the passives. The passives, of course, first I chose Sharpshooter. I think Sharpshooter is definitely the best passive Demon Hunter has. It's just, it's amazing. It's amazing how much your critical hits will go up just by using this passive skill. And really, there's not another passive skill that I'd replace with Sharpshooter. And then I chose Grenadier. And the reason I chose Grenadier is because it gives you that hatred regeneration from the grenades. Now this is where, for the grenades, you can put on Tinkerer. And if you put on Tinkerer, it does 6 hatred instead of 3 hatred. And then you don't really need Grenadier. You don't need that extra 2, really. But I chose stun grenades because it has a 25% chance to stun enemies. And that's pretty substantial. I mean, so you can keep your enemy, if you really need to, or if you're in a group or something, you can keep your enemies stunned for a good bit, and also be generating a lot of hatred at the same time with Grenadier. If you don't really need to stun your enemies, then you can go with Tinkerer, and you can free up this passive slot for something else you want to use. Maybe you want to use, you know, Tactical Advantage or something like that. But I use Grenadier. And then the last passive skill I went with was archery. I have a bow right now, so I get 15% increased damage, and that is huge. I mean, it's just like the glass cannon passive ability for wizards, only you don't have to take the hit in resistance. So that's really big. I really like that passive ability. So that's the build. I also have an alternate to this build, and what that is you take Chakram, and instead of Razor Disc, you go Shuriken Cloud. And if you do this, then what you do is you can take the Bat Companion off, because you don't need to generate hatred anymore. You take that off, you can put a Preparation on if you'd like, you can put Smoke Screen on, or really whatever you want. It frees up that slot. And what you basically do is you've got your cloud right here, and then you just sit there and you stun enemies, and then you get your shadow power up, so you're constantly stunning enemies, and it works out pretty well, really. And you've got this little vortex going around you that also does damage to them. It's kind of like the monk's ability to oh, what is it called? Searing Wind. It's kind of like having a Searing Wind up, only your main attack will be constantly stunning enemies, which is really nice. But I prefer to go like this. I'll go and try to. Oh, I'll let you look at my gear real quick before I go out and kill somebody. Now I have nothing special on. I mean, even look at this ring. Required level 8. It is garbage. It is not good at all. But it gives me attack speed. It gives me a little bit of damage, and frankly, I haven't found anything better. And I'm not gonna go out and spend gold. You know, I've got 5 level 60s, so it gets pretty costly to try to gear them all. As you can see, I don't really have very much gold. All this stuff that I have on this Demon Hunter I found on the ground, except for this bow. This bow I went and bought in the auction house for I think 200,000 gold, which is really not bad at all at 945 DPS, and I got the one with critical hit damage increased, and it's only 63%, which you can find some that are more than that. They get a little more expensive though. So because I'm using Sharpshooter, and since I'm using Sharpshooter, my critical hit chance can get up to 100%, and then you really got to focus on your critical hit damage, because if you can get that critical hit damage high, then you are delivering some big punches when this critical hit chance goes up, when this critical hits go off, and they go off a lot with the Demon Hunter. So that was the main idea there. My resistances are really low. I'd like them to be higher, but like I said, I'm not going to go buy any gear in the auction house because I just can't afford it. I'm trying to outfit several characters, and it's just not going to happen. So hopefully I can find some cool stuff on the ground, so I can, you know, make this Demon Hunter a little better. But hopefully, if your Demon Hunter is your main, then you're spending gold on trying to get good items and everything, then your stats will be a little bit better than mine. I'll just go over my equipment real quick. Here we go. This has high dexterity, and it has some vitality, and it has some resist. That's why I got it. That's why I'm wearing it. I really like boots that do plus to movement speed because it really helps with your evasion. But since the Demon Hunter has Vault, it's not 100% necessary. I'd like to have it, but like I said, I'm not going to spend any gold. So this is why I still use a bow. So I can use archery and get that 15% damage increase. Also, so I can use a quiver because as everybody knows, in the latest patch update 1.0.3, they nerfed attack speed, but they didn't do it to quivers. So I can still get that nice 13% attack speed boost from this quiver. It gives me some life, gives me hatred regeneration, maximum discipline, and some dexterity. You know, it's not the greatest quiver in the world, but I think it's pretty decent, so that's why I've gone with this one. Pants, same story. It's giving me some armor, a little bit of arcane resist, some vitality, and some dexterity. Now with the pants, I do not buy pants, or I do not wear pants. I don't even bother with them unless they have 2 sockets, because check that out. What is that? 68 dexterity that I get from flawless square gems, which are really cheap, and you find all the time. I've got 18 of them sitting here, and you can even move up and go to perfect squares or some star gems or something like that in there, and then it's a huge dexterity boost, or you know, whatever your primary set is. It's a huge boost. So that's something that shouldn't be ignored. You know, you need those sockets in there. Sockets are really valuable. And I should use this ring. It's garbage, but it has some attack speed on it, and it's got some damage on it. Of course, the attack speed was higher before the patch dropped, and that's why I was wearing it. But it's not so great anymore. But you know, it's required level 8. I've been wearing this on my Demon Hunter since I was level 8. So, and then we got this here, and pretty much all this is critical hit chance, dexterity, vitality. It's not that much on any of the stats, but as everybody knows by now, you know, rings and amulets in the auction house are very expensive. So I tend not to replace those at all, even on you know, on any of my characters really. If I don't find it on the ground, I'm not wearing it. Let me go here. So it's got a lot of dexterity, some vitality, and some resistances. I think we're seeing a pattern here. And we got some bracers. I just found these not too long ago. Dexterity, vitality, you know, critical hit chance. They're not too bad, not too great, not too bad. You know, whatever. And then the armor again, just like the pants with the armor. I don't wear it unless it's got these 3 sockets and some stats that I can use. So it's got some dexterity and some vitality, and the 3 sockets. I think that's really important. Is those sockets. Now the stats on this armor, not that great. If I could replace something, it would be either the armor or this helmet. I'll go over this helmet in a second, but not that great, but it works for now. My gloves got some vitality, some little bit of resistance, critical hit damage. This is what I really want to focus on, was the critical hit damage. I want to try to get some more gear with critical hit damage, because I do a lot of critical hits with this character, and so if I can get my critical hit damage up, then I'll be doing a ton more damage. Right now my damage is only at around 40,000 with a full crit chance, so I'd like to get that a lot higher when I'm doing critical hits. And we got my amulet. I actually bought this a long time ago. I think I bought it for 300,000, which, you know, since amulets are usually overpriced, I didn't think that was a terrible price. It's got a pretty good amount of dexterity on it, some intelligence for some resist, I guess. Regenerates a good amount of life, which if you can manage to run away for long enough, then that can actually become a factor, which I'll explain in my in a wizard build video, because that's what I focused on with my wizard. And I really like those 2% chance to blind or knockback or fear or whatever. I like having those on my items, because that 2%, it happens more often than I think most people think. I think that's an undervalued stat, and it's really cool. It immobilizes your enemy for a little bit, and it's a really nice thing to have. And we got my helmet, again, dexterity, vitality, some armor, a little bit of resistance, and it's got that chance to fear on hit, which I like. So this isn't a terrible helmet. I mean, the helmet's got the most armor out of anything that I'm wearing, which is kind of funny, but you know. And the armor is nice because it reduces damages from enemies the same level as you by 50%. I mean, and I have a very low amount of armor. So if you can get your armor up there, then, you know, you can reduce that damage. Then we got my shoulders here again, dexterity, vitality, and some armor. You know, they're not great, but they'll do for now. And you know, a lot of people will say, you know, you don't need armor and you don't need resistances and stuff on a demon hunter because the whole goal of a demon hunter is to just not get hit. Well, that's true to an extent, but you know what? You're gonna get hit eventually. It's gonna happen at some point. So you might as well try to if you can try to put yourself in a position where if you get hit, you're not getting one shot because nobody wants that. Open the northwest gate. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. I'm supposed to go down here. So I'm going to go around here and try to kill... Hopefully I can find a champion or a rare or something, and hopefully I won't die. And try to kill something for you guys, and then switch over to the alternate to this build, and kind of show you how you guys how it works, and kind of the play style of how to use this. I really like that they did this, so that when you kite enemies, they aren't running back into town now. Let's see here. So, just go out here, throw out some chakrams, back up. Oh, and see, the guy already got feared. So, you know. Alright, here we go, champion here. Oh, I forgot to pull out my companion. Here we go. See how fast that hatred comes up? Alright, what we're going to do, come over here. Slow him down. Oh, I'm lagging. Come over here and try to, hopefully, no. I didn't see him hit me, but I guess I'm lagging pretty hard. I'm not using a gaming computer or anything. This is a standard laptop, so when I'm recording at the same time and playing, it lags something awful. What hit me? I don't know what hit me. I don't know if this is lag or if I'm just that terrible. Oh. I don't know. Try to slow him down a little bit. And then see if we can stun him. There it goes, stunned. Oops, that was a mishit. Misclick. Man, this is laggy. He just hit me and he was all the way across the screen. Oh, that's convenient. Where'd he go? There he is. Oh, thanks for trying to do some damage, Bat, but you're not helping. Alright, I think slow him down a little bit.
I require aid.
There he goes, snared. Watch out for that molten thing. I see tons of people get hit by that. So I died a couple times, but honestly, that's due to lag. If you don't want to believe me, then fine. But I don't normally die a whole lot with this setup. Let me switch it over. Now this is a lot more risky of a setup. A lot riskier. And since I'm doing that, I don't need my back companion anymore. So we're going to do preparation and backup plan. Now I do that so that I can pretty much keep this shadow power up all the time, because you're going to have to get really close into those enemies. So I'll show you how this one works. And honestly, I'm just not a fan of this one because you got to get so close to the enemies. But it is an alternate that you can use, and you really are also gambling on the chance that these guys are going to get stunned. Is really what's going off of, and you got to get in close to these guys. Fear them, stun them. See how often they get stunned though, which is nice. So, there you go, little treasure goblin. I am not going to be able to take down those. I'm not going to be able to take down the Moltens with this build. I'm not sure what killed me there. Killed by a grotesque. Maybe from him blowing up, I guess? Not really sure. Again, this is This is pretty laggy, so I don't really know what's going on. I probably shouldn't play when it's this laggy, but... Or maybe I should just get a new computer, right? But you just keep that shadow power up, and you keep stunning these enemies. And when you do these grenades, too, yeah, it was from him blowing up. That's what killed me. Okay. Understood. Run away when guy is going to blow up. I tried to vault there, but I was a little bit too late. Or I at least thought about it. It crossed my mind. How about that? Give me credit for that. So I'm dying a good amount here, which is probably discouraging. Probably don't want to even try this build, but this is also Inferno difficulty, so you know you can try it out in an easier difficulty or something and give it a whirl. You know, it's something different. It's something different from the standard, you know, the cheese builds that I call it. The cheese builds of the Demon Hunter. It's just... Oh, and you know what? This is another really annoying thing that Blizzard did with this, ooh, rare. What? I don't even know how I died. By a retching cadaver. What are you... Shielding jailer molten electrified. I'm not sure how they killed me then. Because I wasn't standing in the molten, so I don't know. But anyways, that's another really annoying thing that Blizzard did with this patch, was shielding and the invulnerable minions and stuff. They used to have this huge like thing going on around them, huge like green thing going on around them, and it was easy to identify them. She just spit at me and blew me up. Oh, they do have a spitting attack. Maybe it's that I just can't see it because it's lagging or something. Whatever, doesn't matter. I'm gonna stop doing this now because the repair costs are ridiculous. So I'll stop showing that now. But anyways, I don't now when you look at them, it's this like faint little green glow around them, and it's hard to tell, especially when you're sitting there fighting them and stuff, when they're shielded and when they're not, unless you start attacking them, it says immune, and then you're like, oh crap, and you gotta run away. And why not just leave it how it was, where they had a huge shield around them, and you could, oh, okay, that guy is shielded. I'm not going to shoot at him. I'm not going to waste my time trying to shoot at him now. That would be stupid of me. You know, I don't know. Just my thoughts on that. But obviously, you know, this class doesn't look like it works because I'm lagging really hard, and it does take some patience, and you got to work with it a little bit. But I encourage you, you know, play with it, and try it out, and give it a spin. And it's fun, you know, if you're getting tired of your same old classes that you've been playing with, or the same old Demon Hunter builds. Well, that's garbage. Too bad. Ignores durability loss. That'd be good for this patch, but damage is too low, I guess. But yeah, you know, try it out if you're getting tired of the same old, you know, builds that are going around, just the standard Demon Hunter builds. They're overpowered, so to speak, I guess. You know, give this build a try. It's really fun, and this is how I leveled up my Demon Hunter all the way to 60. That's how I took it from, you know, when I was like a level 1 or whatever, all the way up to level 60, and I had a lot of fun with it. So, I encourage you to give it a try, and don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more content. And thanks a bunch for watching this, and see you around. Alright.